This is the most insane forging technique in the history of forged in fire, water forging, and this man used his bold move to prove to everyone that even materials regarded as scrap steel by the industry could be completely revitalized through his purification process. The man's name is Ilya. He was originally just an ordinary bladesmith who loved forging, but unexpectedly, it was precisely this passion that turned him into an almost mythical figure in the forged in fire competition. At the very start of the contest, to showcase his skills, Ilya chose to work with nothing but scrap steel dating back to the 18th century. And he decided to forge a Nichirin sword with it. A Nichirin sword is a samurai blade capable of slaying all demons. It is also the signature weapon of Tengen Yuzui, Ilya's favorite anime character. To save time, Ilya threw all the steel directly into the fire to heat it up. Then with the help of a power hammer, he hammered it repeatedly to remove the impurities formed by oxidation on the steel's surface. But this alone was not enough. To craft a quality blade, he also needed to fold and hammer the steel hundreds of times over, because only through this process could he eliminate the impurities deeply embedded within the steel. Yet this method of purifying metal left the judges rather confused, for it was the first time they had ever witnessed such a technique. As it turned out a long time ago, Ilya had spent a year in China, learning to make Miao Dao, a traditional Chinese longsword, and this purification method was exactly what he picked up during that time. What stunned the judges even more was that, during the subsequent forging process, he actually poured water directly onto the steel billet. Every bladesmith knows that the biggest enemy in forging is excessively low temperatures, but what they didn't know was that this was another skill he had learned from the East. The purpose of water forging is to imbue the blade with the necessary hardness and sharpness, while also creating unique blade patterns. Finally, after hammering the steel billet to the desired consistency, he began to shape it to create the perfect Nichirin sword. He first placed the steel billet into a U-shaped groove and hammered it into a U form. Then he placed carbon steel in the middle and struck it hard once again. However, both the angle and force of each hammer strike required extreme precision. An ordinary person could never master the essence of this technique without at least a year of dedicated practice. But for Ilya, who had been forging swords since childhood, it was a piece of cake. At long last, through Ilya's painstaking efforts, the Nichirin sword gradually took shape, but to make the blade truly flawless, he still needed to manually adjust some extremely fine details. Once the blade was nearing perfection, Ilya proceeded with the quenching process. Then he personally carved inscriptions onto the blade, and just like that, an absolutely perfect Nichirin sword was finally completed.